Welcome back to Lit Sports Online, and we have a lacrosse special tonight. It's going to be the NCAA Men's Division I playoffs, and we're in the semis now. How about that?
That's awesome, and even more awesome, two Maryland schools, Towson and Maryland, in the Final Four. Towson on quite a Cinderella story, and Maryland just being as dominant as they traditionally are in lacrosse.
Indeed, and let's kind of run through how the teams that are in the semis, or the Final Four, if you will, have got to this point.
Yeah, let's start out with Maryland. Started out in the first round taking on Bryant and beat them 13-10 to take them to the second round to take on Albany, where they beat them 18-9. Denver also had a pretty interesting travel. They started out taking Air Force on in the first round, beating them 17-10. And next up after that, they took on Notre Dame. And now here they are, ready to take on Maryland. And, I mean, it's anybody's game, but, of course, I'm going to go with my home state. I'm going to go with Maryland on this one to get to the championship.
I will as well, but it's interesting when you look at both the teams because it's really like path of least resistance for both of them, wasn't it? They just blew out the teams they were playing against. Wasn't even a challenge.
I mean, they're literally putting up like 17, 19 points. I'm just like thinking, that's a lot of freaking goals for lacrosse, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty wide point differential when you just look through who they beat and by how much. But Denver always seems to be in the thick of things.
They're always in the thick. I mean, they've always been a pretty strong opponent. But Maryland, traditionally, I mean, this is Maryland's sport.
Exactly. And I mean, again, you can't count out Denver because they're always in the thick of it. They're ranked number 5, so it's going to be interesting. Maybe you see the upset, but I mean, we're both liking Maryland in this matchup. Yeah. And then on the other side of the spectrum, first let's talk about Ohio State. I mean, they're the number 3 ranked team. In the first round, they defeated Loyola. That was a 7-4 game. And then they beat Duke 16-11. Both unranked teams, though, so they're not going up against top competition. And now they play another unranked team in Towson. So it's really interesting how that one sets up. And then for Towson, they in the first round defeated Penn State 12-8, and then they played Syracuse, the number 2 ranked team, and actually beat them 10-7. So Towson actually not, you think about an unranked team making this kind of run, and you'd think, hey, maybe they'd have like an overtime upset, but no, they're actually handily beating these teams.
Number 2 team in the nation, Syracuse, one of the best lacrosse programs in the country. Towson walked in, said, boom, this is our game, done. Towson, man. I live like 15 minutes away from Towson. Like, I'm hyped for this. I got accepted into Towson. Didn't go. Got accepted. I'm hyped to see them go far. I want to see them in the finals.
Yeah, there's something special about this year's Towson team because a lot of these unranked teams, like, they don't really score a lot of goals, but clearly Towson does, and enough to get past their competition. And in the Final Four, I mean, I can't pick against my college, so I'm taking Towson for this one.
No, man, I'm not picking against Towson either. Like I said, I want to see Towson and Maryland in the Maryland State Championship. Let's go.
But what's also interesting is my father is an Ohio State fan. I mean, he's a Maryland and Ohio State fan because he did his undergrad at Maryland, and then he did veterinary school at Ohio State. So I'm sure he's pulling for both of them to be in the final.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Towson also, which is cool, and I was looking at the roster earlier this week. A bunch of local public school kids. A lot of local kids on this squad. And, I mean, how awesome would it be to win the national championship? Let's say Maryland does get to the finals, and it's Maryland versus Towson. How awesome would it be for Towson to beat Maryland? What would that do for their program in terms of recruiting in the state? There's so much on the line for this that could really put Towson just in that next top tier lacrosse program.
Oh, I'd be stoked even if even though they got to the final and lost to Maryland, because just getting to the final being an unranked team and then like having 2 Maryland teams in the final, that would be so nuts, and we'd obviously be having a LitTube party to watch that.
Oh, we definitely would in my house. But no, definitely. I mean, it's an exciting time to be a lacrosse fan in Maryland. I mean, you have 2 really good schools. I mean, the only thing that's it'd been pretty cool if Loyola had made it somehow. Hopkins was still in here and made it to the Final Four to take on Maryland.
Yeah, Loyola and Hopkins both out in the first round. What a shame, but
that does say something about lacrosse in Maryland. And I mean, it's no secret. Maryland and lacrosse go together like peanut butter and jelly. There's a lot of talent here in the state, and it translates up to the college level too.
Yeah, so guys, as far as the Final Four, there's going to be on ESPN2. Saturday, May 27th. So the Ohio State and Towson game, that's going to be at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern. and then you're going to have the Maryland-Denver game at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in and watch both those great games.
At Gillette Stadium, home of the Boo England Patriots. I just don't like them. But whatever. This isn't about them right now. This isn't about football. It's about lacrosse. It's going to be 2 exciting games. Tune in. Hopefully it'll be a Maryland championship. Somewhere it'll be just 2 Maryland schools taking on each other, and the championship will come back to this state.
Yeah, dream scenario for the old line state for sure.
Hey, dreams may come true.
So that's going to do it for this. Again, make sure you tune in on Saturday to watch these Final Four games, and subscribe and like the video.
Take care.